Women don't like to see you winning without them, gents. That's something you'll have to come to grips with when you're dealing with modern women. A lot of men think that their boo wants the best for them, but oftentimes that's not true. I know you guys find it hard to believe that, but I've lived around women long enough to know that most of them are the enemy of your life and success. The raw truth is this: most of you are sleeping with the enemy in your marriage or relationships while they're plotting and praying for your downfall. And they disguise this very well by sitting up under you for years until the investment is made, and once the incentive is there to leave you, they'll show you how much they want you to suffer and struggle. If you don't believe me, then ask any married guy who had a nasty divorce, and if he's truthful, you'll realize that these modern XXs do not want to see men happy. Young guys, you think this is a joke and I don't know what I'm talking about, but if you think the girl who's throwing that puss on you and says she loves you won't betray you, you have a next thing coming. Let me give you guys a general scenario that most men go through in their marriages that leads to divorce more often than not. Many men enter marriage thinking it's going to last forever. However, his wife got counseling from her mother, female relatives, and married female friends on what to do if he starts acting up and how to pull the plug on the relationship. That way, she comes out with cash and prizes. So in essence, the divorce is planned before the wedding, and she already has an exit plan before you'd even walk her down the aisle. It may not be that she literally has a time frame for when she's going to nuke your marriage, but she knows the steps to take to issue the divorce and when is the most favorable time to do it, so she comes out on top. Most men don't know this or even have a clue how the family court works, but she does, and she's hoping that you remain ignorant so she can have the upper hand in the marriage. Everything I say from this point on will be linked to Coach Greg Adams' marriage wheel so I can provide further clarity. So what tends to happen is after the marriage, the husband and his wife will enter the honeymoon phase where they are having the most sex, and everything will be fantastic. She won't leverage sex as much to get what she wants, and the BS will start to ramp up less in this period. It will typically last from the engagement to the first 2 years of marriage, and this is where both men and women will connect with each other to build a loving foundation. In this phase, it will be the best in the marriage, and your wife will most likely be somewhat submissive to you and treat you well. So if you have a shaky marriage in this period, you're headed for divorce. So in this scenario, the husband pays for the wedding, walks her down the aisle, consummates the marriage, and he and his wife are living together happily married in the connection phase. However, it needs to go a step further for the couple to be a family. This is where the investment phase comes in. The investment phase is the period where both the man and the woman pool together their finances to enjoy their marriage and upgrade their lifestyle. This may include buying a house or moving to a more spacious apartment, renovating, buying cars, and taking trips and vacations. Also, they will start investing in the stock market, investing in real estate, starting a business or side hustle, getting insurance, and making the biggest investment, which is having children. This is typically what will happen, and your wife will push for some of these things or drop subtle hints of having a nest and children. Now, you as a man will be happy to provide some or all of these things because you'll want to be the provider and breadwinner, but you don't even know that you're playing in your wife's palm. See, the investment stage is the wife's incentivization to file for divorce later in the marriage cycle. She knows that without a nest, investments, assets, and kids, then, if you guys divorce, she won't get the bag. Without the investment phase, the divorce rate would not be so high. Just like if there weren't a no-fault divorce, most women would not file for divorce. Why? Because there's no incentive to leave the marriage. Always remember that modern XXs use divorce for status and to get their retirement plan. That is the brutal truth. Most of them don't like or love their husbands because they're settling for him in the absence of Chad. I want you to understand that you are the only one marrying for love in 2022. Women are no longer doing that because they can no longer pair bond, and they love money more than how they love men. And if you disagree with me, then you'll have to explain why most women who marry don't walk without dragging their ex-husband through a painful divorce. Please answer that question, because when you love someone, regardless of whether or not it didn't work out between you guys, it would not turn to hate and fight over kids and resources. Everything would be spit down the middle equally in an amicable divorce if it were about love, so I don't want to hear the BS about love because marriage is a business. The Hope Strategists and the Simps are irate right now. Tap the like button if you're enjoying this message. Let's get this video to 500 likes because YouTube has been slowing us down lately. I appreciate all of your support in keeping the message going. I would love for the Hope Strategists to go in the family court when they're being dragged and mention love or your Sky Daddy. Go and ask the judge about love and Sky Daddy and see what happens. Not a goddamn thing will happen in your favor. I can confidently say that because they don't care about love or Sky Daddy, and neither will your vindictive wife who wants to see you homeless, broke and destitute while she has all your money, resources, and kids. You guys think it's a joke out here, but F around and see what happens to you once you sign your life away on the marriage contract. So in the investment phase scenario, the man and woman, but mainly the man, will invest in the family, their lifestyle, having kids and building wealth for their retirement and their kids' future. This phase will go on for years until the wife usually starts acting up, leading the marriage to the bait and switch phase. This phase is basically where BS starts to happen. In this phase, she'll rebel and start pushing BS in the marriage that initially the man did not sign up for, or he would not have married her if he knew she would start acting the way she is. I won't stay too long on this point, but she could become a womanist, cuts her hair off, starts going to girls' nights out and get dug out by Chad and Tyrone. She starts to say she's not happy, the husband has to work twice as hard to keep up their expensive lifestyle, while she complains that he's not spending time with her and so on. Affairs will be common, less segs, marriage counseling, constant complaining and nagging, and overall the ish will hit the fan. This is the phase right after the investment has been made, and your wife knows that if she gets out soon, she'll get the bag. This is what I like to call the transition phase, where she purposefully steers the marriage off the cliff and into the stage that proves they don't want to see men happy, which will be the divorce. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finally arrived at the phase that makes men wonder how they even spend a day with their wives. Most men will feel it coming, but they will not be able to anticipate it until it happens, which usually comes as a shock. This is where you'll find out that you were sleeping with the enemy all along, and she planned out everything from the very beginning. Most ex-exes in a divorce want nothing more than to see you as a shell of a human being. They want to see you suffer and struggle through the entire process, even after the divorce is finalized. These ex-exes will drag your name through the court of public opinion and talk about you were abusive and how much of a deadbeat dad you were. They'll tell lies about you in front of the judge and say you were a predator to your own kids. They'll try to limit your custody and take the house you bought and paid for away from you. Your wives will try to collect alimony and child support. And they'll do everything in their power to extract every dime from you until you're either homeless or 6 feet under. Gents, put a 1 in the comment section if what I'm saying is true. By the way guys, I have a channel on trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can be halfway monetized, so if you want to help a brother out, go over there and subscribe. I only need a couple more subs and I'll hit 1,000. I'll link it in the description box and pin it in the comment section. Your ex-wife will do everything in her power to make you miserable, and they'll laugh and brag about it to their friends while living the good life. They'll prosper in the first 2 to 3 years off your dime while you're living in your car, in a studio apartment, or while you're homeless, and they'll be happy that you're miserable. That's modern-day marriage in a nutshell, and women plan this ish out before you want them down the aisle. However, if you are a man that has his head screwed on straight and you decide to work your way out of your situation, the table will turn. You see, in the first 2 to 3 years, while she was on a rooster carousel riding, traveling to the Caribbean and Europe, eating steak and living it up. At the same time, you had to eat top ramen and struggle to keep the lights on, all because of her. But here's the deal, she didn't anticipate that none of the men she wanted was not going to want to settle down and marry her. And this is where you'll start to see the light at the end of the tunnel after the 3rd year of paying alimony and child support. You'll slowly begin to build back your life. If you're smart, you'll start living the free agent lifestyle and decide you'll never marry again, never cohabitate with another woman, and never get back into a relationship. And as the years go on, you'll make more money to the point where you're living in a decent apartment. You'll start to drive a nice car again, you'll have money again in the bank to eat steak and fine dining, and you'll have younger women creaming on your salami. At the same time, your ex-wife will be struggling and looking at you, living the good life in the spirit of hate and jealousy. She'll see that you're single and happy while she's unhappy, and she'll most likely do 2 things. She'll come crawling back to you to forgive her and take her back if she didn't find a monkey simp to marry her, or she'll bring you back into the child support office for a modification to drag you down. They will not want to see you winning in life, and that's just the cold hard truth that men learn the hard way. So you better think long and hard if you want to roll the dice and enter the marriage wheel, because statistically, you'll be divorced in about 8 years after your marriage living in the United States. This is almost guaranteed to happen, especially if you live in California. Gents, they don't want to see you single and happy. They fear they won't get their wedding day or retirement plan if you're happy without them, and that's just how it is. No amount of snorting hopium or praying to Sky Daddy will change that. Women don't want you to be single because they know they won't have access to what's important to them, and that's your wallet. Subscribe to this channel if you're new, then tap the bell and tap all so you get all of our videos. And if you want to watch some of the rawest RP content on this platform, then watch our Season 8 video on the screen right now.